apologize. Go ahead, John. All right, we appreciate you guys all coming out. We appreciate your patience in this. I told you this is a very impromptu. This is the way we do it. I'm just giving you just a brief history that this is and was, for the time 20 years ago, a very cutting-edge movie. On top of that, it also did wonders for the industry as far as changing the way props and things were handled and the execution of things on the set. Now, again, I'm going to kind of let these guys go about it. I'm going to just pick a quick, I guess a little anecdote or something and just try to see how you guys handle that, and then you guys can roll from there, and then we'll do some question and answers in the crowd, and we'll go back and forth. Tony, in the filming of this, if it was my understanding correctly, there was lots of hours, and people were racing to get this done, and everyone always says, oh, it was just such a great production to work on. Give us a little feel of what your take on the overall execution of The Crow was about for you.
Yeah, we were working about 17 hours a day, which is, Hollywood has now cut back on that particular time frame. This is way too many hours. What we do is, personally speaking, is one of the most fun things you can do in the world. Being creative, creating characters, writing stories, directing actors, and getting paid for what you love to do. So that being said, after our incident with The Crow, laws were passed, particularly in the state of California, that no more than 15 hours can be worked a day. Certain turnarounds have to happen. The actors get 12 hours off, crews get 10 hours off, and it makes for a better and more complete. There's no need to rush through anything in life. Childbirth.
Also, we shot this movie all at night.
We shot it at night in very dark spaces.
Yeah, and for many, many hours you just wake up, you never see the daylight. You go to sleep when the sun comes up, and you get up and you go to work and it's dark again. And it just gets you turned around and you're sort of in a sort of like, you know, jet lag sort of state the whole time. And it's a weird state to work in for many months.
Yeah, I think it was, the studio was putting a lot of pressure. Alex Price, who directed the movie, he's an amazing director, and I saw his reel before I agreed to do the movie, and he's just very talented and just a great guy. And I think the studio, Paramount, the studio, was putting a lot of pressure on him to hurry up and finish it, and we were pushing the hours. It was North Carolina, it was winter, it would be warm during the daytime, but it would be freezing at night, and we were working nights, and they didn't want to pay for the turnaround. So it was very, very difficult. After the accident happened, and we went back to work, Alex, in my opinion, just took control. And the movie is what it is because of just his dedication, his determination to make it really special. And I saw him just sort of push the studio back and just take charge. And I, actually I said to him, I really wish he had done that in the beginning because there were so many things that were just under a lot of pressure. But it was a great show to be on. It was great people. I mean, I loved it. An amazing cast. Everybody really fit their roles, their parts. I mean, it was just really. And Brandon was really dedicated to getting the work. And I always find that it starts with the leader. When a guy's really committed, he's really good, he's showing up, you got to show up. And so it was great to be a part of, but there were things. When I got down there, they'd been shooting for about 3 days. And it was at night, and I'm like, where are the heaters, man? Heaters down here. And Brandon's walking around with no shirt on, no shoes. Yeah, I was like, and I'm like, wait a minute, why? And he didn't want to complain. So yeah, it was a little bit careless in a lot of ways, but it was great. It was great to be a part of it, and it felt like we were doing it.
Aside from the script, which I think we all read and did script, and Billy Hopkins, who's one of the most celebrated casting directors in the world, brought this amazing group of people together, which is already said something. Brandon, leadership of Brandon, through
And Alex.
And to want to cast.
But I think it was, I saw Alex play as his real too. And every time I was why I'm in North Carolina to do this movie, not that I was going to turn it down. But I look at the reel and I say, that's why. And it was so beautiful, the work that he did. It was very, very unusual for the time. And it really, you had to feel that on it that it could be, you never know what you're making. You work just as hard for something that's terrible as you work for something that's good. But you really, this movie really seemed like it had hope to be something really special and different.
Yeah. So probably, if you want to open it to Q&A,
Sure.
it's easier.
Absolutely.
I don't know what to say.
I told you, it's very impromptu. This is how we do it. We want to make sure. And bottom line is, you guys are going to sit here, and the bottom line is for us, we want you, the fan. This is your Q&A. So just a brief hello, get started. So go ahead, sir.
Hello. Yes, I recently purchased The Crow on Blu-ray, and they actually cut your fight scene with Brandon on that one. That they actually cut the fight scene because it was a little bit more graphic. That they were saying that the director had to cut it, unfortunately, because the rating, R rating or something like that, that they were saying between you, Michael.
Between me.
Yeah.
and
Between
Brandon. I don't. There were a lot of scenes that were cut that I was aware were cut, or I was told they were cut because I really haven't seen the movie. But yeah, they did cut some scenes down, and they obviously cut the scene down when the accident happened. We switched that around. I don't know about the Blu-ray thing or what.
Okay.
I haven't seen the movie, so.
It was a good fight scene.
Yeah, obviously, The Crow was way before its time. And do you think that how that has effect on movies nowadays, or after that movie was completed?
In what way?
Well, just by the way, like the way you filmed it, the way it was filmed, the way that. Do you think that it has any, that a lot of movies today look, where a lot of directors today go back on that?
To mimic that style.
I think that any movie that's cutting edge, people after that get inspired from the look of it or the feel of a movie or something like that, and taking it, do their own version of it. So yeah, I do think it was a trendsetter in that way.
Go ahead, sir, in black. Or blue.
With the rumored release of this new Crow movie, has the company come to you to reprise the role or to show us a cameo at all?
I wasn't aware.
That movie is, it was supposed to start in January, and it's been sidelined for a bit. And James O'Barr, who wrote the original graphic novel, is the key executive producer on that. He talked to me about something, but he talked to me about not necessarily doing Grange, but it doesn't matter because it's in limbo at the moment.
Well, I was surprised that they talked to Tony because I thought I killed him in the movie, but
Police officers. This time I was the judge.
we performed together many times, and I have a tendency to kill him.
Thank God it's movies.
No, I love him in real life. Like I said.
I love you too, but you won't come out with me. Chicago. I told this man we got an opportunity to meet Buddy Guy last night, okay? He turned out to be one of the guitar virtuosos of the modern world.
Well, they say
No, to his credit, he had to learn some lines for new movies and no money. Because Ernie never stops working. Neither does Michael. Michael's got a TV series in Paris and other things, and the Amazing Spider-Man.
Look on IMDb, I think he has more
Me,
credits
I
than any other.
gotta do independent movies.
Yeah.
Somebody give me a job.
They had called me about, I think they had a television show that was shooting in Vancouver, but I don't know how these guys felt, but I felt, the movie Brendan, I mean, that was it, you know, and I didn't really,
Is that one with Edward Furlong?
I guess, I never saw the others, but I knew the studio would be wanting to make, like, you know, I mean, it's about money, so I wasn't surprised that they were doing other, yeah, they, you know, but
Did you guys just get party that was a recent settlement? Did you guys get that? Edward.
why are you just not telling me? No, I haven't seen it.
Because your mailbox is stuffed with so many residuals. Axel Brown and all that. But
There's no settlements permitted.
no, there was Edward Pressman, our executive producer, who went on to do all those infamous TV versions.
Yeah.
There was a recent settlement that it's been 3 years in the making that should land.
No, I don't look into that. Yeah, so,
The young lady with her hand over here.
You guys are kidding me.
Speaking of the independent films that you're doing, how was working on Sushi Girl?
Thank you for asking. I loved it. I got to produce it. I called Ernie. He wasn't available. At least he didn't answer my phone. No, independent films, you know, we all do mainstream things, big budget things, you know, that pays for our kids' education and our lifestyle, and then it also gives us some freedom to pick and choose some great roles in the independent world, which is what independent filming does for you. Just one personal plug, if I may.
yes, go ahead.
I'm getting ready to do another independent film I'm producing called Cowboys Girl. This is a beautiful story about a young woman who comes to terms with her dad, and I play the dad who's living in Vegas and having issues and stuff. So you get to choose movies with heart and passion and soul, which is, sounds like an R&B group.
Sounds like you got a better agent than I do. I haven't seen Heart and Soul in a while.
You come from my agent, sir. You got to dig. If you haven't met Buddy Guy last night, you're playing his life story, sir.
Gentlemen of makeup.
Oh my God!
First of all, he's like, great job with the film. I love it. It's really sweet. But I know everyone's going to be asking about the Crow, but I want to take advantage of this and for another film that you were in, Candyman.
Yes.
Yes.
Another independent film.
I'm also a huge fan of, and I was wondering if you could talk about just being back in Chicago. Like, how was it filming that movie and like working in Chicago then, and just.
That working on Candyman was, I hate saying the name of that, but working on Candyman. Chicago. This is brought me to Chicago for the very first time, and I absolutely love this city. This city is so funky. It's funky. The people are so cool. They love sports. I'm a sports fanatic. Music. I'm a music lover. I go see Buddy Guy, whatever. Some fried okra, fried oysters, dude. That's your son, right? Is he in? We lose him? Anyway, so Chicago's a great city for filming because the city is so rich and so architectural and filled with spirit and life. So I think that's part of what made Candyman special.
To answer your question.
In the back.
Yes, we're both Tony and I understand that you're also voice actors as well, with most recently on Transformers 5. Can you describe kind of the advantages and disadvantages of voice acting?
Well, both Ernie and I were in Transformers 5. You played a cop. You did a lot of cop roles. And I don't like cops.
No, actually, I wasn't a cop in Transformers 5.
You weren't?
No, I was the head of this private agency.
Oh,
that,
I'm sorry.
you know,
I'm sorry, you were private here.
No, it was a great show to work on. I loved great actors. I mean, Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, and it was just a great, great cast, and we all got together. So,
Step up, Frank, and,
yeah, we all were, you know, we would do it together. It wasn't like we would do it separately. We all would kind of come together. And I don't normally get a little intimidated, but I think with just the talent, I mean, that's what they do. It was really, really impressive.
we were sort of newcomers.
Yeah, so it was nice to see Tony come in and mess up, so I felt a little bit better. But that's kidding. I'm always good. No, it was great. It was great to.
Did you kill me in that? You killed Dreadway, huh?
That's right. You did die.
I did die.
That's really an even score right now.
That's right. I forgot you died. Yeah, it was a great show to do. It was great, and I was really disappointed.
I don't know, how can a robot die?
Well, you cast Tony Todd.
Michael also is known for some voice work too, so again, as being mainstream that they are, they do get requests a lot of times to do voiceovers and do voices for different animation and everything else, so it is kind of, there's all over the map, so when you start looking at them closely and go on the computer and look at their credits, there's a lot more to them than you probably know than just the surface, so it is a lot of interesting reading.
But rarely do you get everybody in the room acting off of each other.
Yeah,
a lot of times you're doing it solo and you're just doing your part. And but when you get a chance to get 5 or 6 actors in a room playing voices, it can get really exciting. It can get a lot of fun.
And someone under. Yes, sir.
Just for Michael, what brought you on to make Spider-Man, and will you be in the 3rd film?
What brought me on is my agent actually called me. I was downtown LA and said they want you for a part in Spider-Man. Do you want to do it? And my question was, is it a big movie? And yes, Michael, it's a big movie. I said, yeah, I'd love to do it. And, anyway, they gave me the part, and they told me from the beginning that I'd be in the first one. I was sort of like in the shadows, man in the shadows. And I proceeded to tell the director that they really didn't have any balls because they wanted to put me in the shadows. So if they didn't like my work, they could cut me out of 2 and 3. And that was somewhat the idea. Anyway, they did like my work, and then the second one, they were going to expand the character, which they did. And in the third one, I should be one of the villains with Chris Cooper. So yes, I am going to be in 3 if it all pans out.
Gentleman in the corner, Ray.
Yeah, speaking of sequels, I think what everyone wants to know is, Ernie, will there be a Congo 2?
I don't often get surprised by questions. You got me on that one. No, I don't think there'll be another Congo. I don't know why. I love the character. I thought they should get rid of all those other people and make it about Monroe Kelly. But it was one of the most fun jobs I've ever done. And Bruce Campbell, we did a movie called Tornado that we used before. And but I love making the movie, and I wish there would be, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Now, I just want to say something, gentlemen. When you come up and see me before, when you come downstairs, I'm going to give you a free autograph with all 3 of them because that's a great question. I couldn't have planned that better. That was the best part. Sir, go ahead.
Yes, this question is for all 3 gentlemen. What movie inspired all y'all to actually go into acting when y'all were younger? What movie did y'all watch to make y'all decide you want to be actors?
I read a play called Cyrano de Bergerac. It's a French play, and about it, I was supposed to learn a little part about when he speaks about his nose. He's a long tirade about his nose, and I just read the play and I looked at it and I sort of knew it, you know. And I got called on in school the next day, and I stood up there not knowing any better, and I recited the whole thing. And my teacher was so blown away. She took me to the French National Theater to see it. And about 6 months after that, I skipped school one day and went to see The Great Escape of Steve McQueen. And that sort of sealed the deal. I knew I was going to be an So those two things were got me into it.
I'm a film student. I love film noir. So Billy Wilder is like my favorite director of all time. But it's a two-part thing because Sunset Boulevard was my favorite film. I love Willie movies. But like I say, I'm developing a piece right now on James Edwards, who's an unknown black actor. Supposedly what's Napoleon became, but he got blacklisted because he had a habit of dating white women. But he was in a film called Asphalt Jungle. Absolutely very small role. He's done like 20 roles. His last film was Patton. Look him up. He's a forgotten treasure in Hollywood. I remember seeing that. You're reminded that yes, you can. There's a validity for everybody being an actor, no matter where you come from or what you do.
Wow. Yeah, you know, I think growing up with Westerns and, you know, you kind of, those stories, you sort of identify and you sort of learn sort of how to conduct your story. You know, I mean, in my family, you didn't talk about really important issues, so you kind of got your direction from movies, you know, and I love the movies, but I never really thought, Forbidden Harbor, Michigan, which is directly across the lake. So I didn't even imagine the possibility of being an actor. It was something that was, but I remember seeing Black Orpheus. It was a Brazilian movie that was so powerful. It was like I was just mesmerized by it. And I thought, wow, it just, that sort of showed me what movies can do when they work. But it wasn't until I got in theater. And I fell in love with theater, and then acting in movies and TV, that's all an extension of that. But I think the Cowboys probably just wanting to work, you know. Yeah.
All right. In the back, gentlemen, yeah. You first. I'll do the next one later. Go ahead. Speak loud for us. Good question.
Et toi, tu parles combien de langues?
Parce que je viens d'Haïti et mon père c'est haïtien et dominicien, ma mère c'est...
Et portugaise.
Ma mère a des tantes qui est moitié portugaise et il faut parler toutes les langues à la maison.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I do speak French. I grew up in Paris, and that's why I do speak French. And I'm the first American actor to be going over there now and doing a French series in French as a French character. And it's funny because here they like the David Lynch films and 24 they like a lot and all those things. But they know me as an American actor and they have no idea I speak French. And if I speak French, you have no idea that I'm American. So it's kind of confusing, but it's going to be fun when they start airing these things in September. And I think the work is good enough. We're all gynecologists. Gynecologists. It's a medical series, and I think it should be kind of, it's going to be fun. It's been fun to do, and I think we're going to probably go again and do 12 more in October or something like that. And I forgot the second part of your question. Oh, you don't get paid for ad-libbing.
You guys want to respond? Are you good?
No, you don't even get credit. So having movies I've actually rewritten because you go, I can't say this, and but no, you don't get credit. So.
Go ahead, sir.
If it's good, other people take credit for it.
Hi, this is our friend. I'm sorry, this gentleman right here sitting here.
What was it like working on Supernatural?
People have been asking me that a lot, and the truth be told, I can't remember. But I'm sure it was pretty good.
I told you it was going to be honest.
I don't really remember the character I played. I don't know if I was a demon or a demon catcher or a demon somebody. Or I don't even know if I was a demon. Somebody told me it was about demons. And I haven't seen it, so...
The second time you said that, Michael, you don't watch, you never watch it work?
Very rarely, if I can avoid it at all costs.
Why? I'm interested, why is that?
Because it just makes me want to go and throw up.
So, that's interesting. So you sort of just pour it all out there.
Yeah, and then the rest isn't my job. I mean, it's your guys' jobs to work it.
I'm going to set up a catch up here next.
I'm curious, Tony, do you watch it?
I like to watch it with an audience, but not being present. Like I'll sneak in, like when The Crow came out,
Right.
I was playing at not the Ziegfeld, but somewhere off of 44th in New York City. And I went in the back, and I like watching people's reaction to it. I don't watch it. You know, film acting is kind of like making a tape recording for the first time. And you hear your voice, it sounds completely different than what you imagine it. So,
Why are you explaining it to me?
That's why Tony Lee these things.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you come to my house, I have myself on a loop. No, not true. I couldn't sit there with an audience and great, but it's good.
Gentleman in the green shirt by Nick the last time.
name on Netflix and see what comes up.
No, but everything is on
Everything is on
Netflix and iTunes, not iTunes, but YouTube. You can find everything on YouTube. Stuff that I thought was
Gone.
gone.
Ernie's mention of how his favorite genre is called Western. And I'm not sure if it was the only Western or the first Western you did. The Cherokee Kid.
Oh, yes. Gregory Hines.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah.
I love it. Is that on Metronome?
It probably, the Cherokee Kid, Sinbad, who's from Benton Harbor. He was a neighbor, so we called and asked him to be in this movie with him. And Bob Brubaker, Tony Brubaker, he was the stunt coordinator, and I worked with him on The Cowboy Way, and I rode the horse and yeah. Oh my God, I saw that movie. But Tony was trying to get his friend hired as a stuntman. So he said, Ernie, it would help us if you just told him you didn't ride very well. And that way, and so I did, to help him, I told him, I said, well, I'm not really comfortable, I don't ride that well on a horse. So on The Cowboy Way, the producers refused to let me have a horse. And but it's a cowboy, so I'd be there with the other guys on their horses, and they'd have a ladder with me sitting on the ladder. And I said, no, I was joking, I do ride, and they just would not believe it because of the insurance. So when you see that movie, I don't get a chance to ride a lot.
Gentleman in the gray shirt right here.
Hey guys, thanks for being here today. It's an honor. Tony, I want to tell you first of all, thanks for Candyman, because I introduced it to my 12-year-old and his friends last year at their sleepover party. Every single child peed in my backyard.
I just refuse to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I go in there. After the first time, and I went in there and scared the crap out of me, and that was it. I want to ask you guys, being that this is my favorite comic book movie of all time, do you guys watch comic book movies that you guys have a favorite?
Do we watch
Comic book movies.
Oh, comic book movies.
I'd have to say no.
Stan Lee is, he was like a hero to me because I didn't read a lot in school. But I read comics and the Marvel comics. I love the Marvel comics. They're great, I still love them. And I kind of know him now. I see him at conventions and I'm too embarrassed to say, give me a job. I love Thor. I love Thor. And so I love those movies. I think they're very well done. So yeah, I do like watching movies. And it's something, you know, it's funny because I love actors because I never thought I'd actually become one. So it's actually, I never told you this. Candyman, I read the script. I got a chance to read the script early on, and I know I wasn't offered the job. But I did read the script, and I thought it was the stupidest script I've ever This is so dumb. And then I saw Tony make this movie something really magical, and I was like, wow, that just shows what actors can do. And I never thought I'd be having a conversation about Candyman. But it was amazing. It's just amazing work, and I appreciate you. I just have so much respect.
He had it.
Maybe that's what it was. You know, yes.
Sweet was mine, you know.
Oh, okay. See, if you had rewritten it, I would have taken the job. But no, I'm just kidding. No, it was amazing work, and I've always wanted to say that. I never have said. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. You know, it's hard to bring that up when you're about to kill somebody. You know? By the way, I like the word.
Any comic book flips you, Tony?
I was a DC fan.
Okay.
So, doesn't matter, don't care. I was a single kid growing up, so like Batman and wearing towels and imagining they were violet colored, my mask. And I was a kid that was on the garage, like.
One has a feeling he still has that out there. About the way he's saying.
Someone with the green hat.
You guys talked about James O'Barr earlier, and I was wondering if, first of all, did any of you guys ever read the graphic novel? And it's not a big deal if you didn't, but did you guys ever like have a chance to did James O'Barr do anything on the set? Did you guys meet him? What did you guys think about working with him? If you did work with him, anything like that?
Yeah, I met him on set. I didn't really.
But I didn't know.
In fact, my character I don't think is in the comics. He might have a moment.
He is, but in the comic book he's actually
But he's
white.
not, yeah, no. So I do things that don't relate to what I'm doing. But I got to stop trying for the humor. But I do. I just have so much, respect for him. I like him a lot, and we've become friends. The most impressive thing he has done that I admire is he lost weight. He actually was kind of a little round guy, and he's actually very buff now. So, but I see him from time to time. He's very, very talented. So, but I didn't read. I wasn't familiar. I read him after I got the movie. They gave us a copy of it. So I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, there's one I had. You didn't get a copy?
I did get a copy after we had
Me too.
the movie.
Well, I got a copy during the filming, because that's when I met James, and I read a little bit of the...
But not before.
No.
No.
Well, not before the movie.
Yeah. You're the only one who read it before the movie.
I was like 3.
The Spider-Man?
Kind of starts with Michael and it goes to all three. Recently saw Lost Highway for the first time. Michael, I'm sorry about what happened to your head. But, I was introduced to the concept of the David Lynch concept of if you use a lot of exposition in a movie, you kind of get tailed in the direction. So, in Like the Crow, Lost Highway doesn't have a lot of exposition, and it flows very naturally. My question is to each of you, which are movies that are in that vein, which are some of your favorites that you particularly like?
Well, I'd have to say Lost Highway. I really Lost Highway. I went to see this casting director. She's an English woman who casts all of Lynch's stuff, and she said, "Would you like to meet David tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, take this home and read it. I don't know if there's any part left in this movie, but just read it, and I'll set up a meeting tomorrow." So the next guy came, and I walked in the room, and David was there saying, "Hi, I'm David," and I said, "Yeah, I sort of got it, the hair," and I said, "I'm Michael." And I said, "I read your script, and I read a lot of scripts, and this is one of the best things I've read, in the last couple of years. It's fantastic, and it was like a dream, that you almost have, and you wake up and you don't have it, and you're trying to grasp onto it." And I didn't understand a fucking thing. He looked at me and smiled, and he said, "Good, good. I've got one part left in the movie. Do you want it? And I said, yes. And that was that. And that's how I felt about and I still feel about the movie the same way. I don't understand a fucking thing. I really enjoyed it, and I do think it flowed. And it was a great experience to work on. Every actor would come to work early. I've never seen that happen on a set, and it just people wanted to be around David, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, David's a great filmmaker. One of my, it was my second film ever. It was a Jim Jarmusch film that nobody's ever seen. It was called Sleepwalk. But I got to work with him. You know, they say that great films have to have a strong beginning, middle, and end. But I think all of us that came from theater, and these two distinguished gentlemen both have, you learn how to, sometimes the beginning is not at the beginning. So you learn how to, just as an actor, make sure that you have a through line. I did a film in Paris, speaking of Paris, which I love, by the way. The food there is incredible, amazing, the culture incredible, called Le Secret, that never came to America because I had a clause in my contract that if it came to North America, I had to give an extra $250. Of course, they didn't want to do that, but it was a rare classic. It's available on Amazon. We love it. It's kind of like Last Tango in Paris. I wear this outfit where I like hover over it. And we have these 10 incredible, steamy love sequences which for African American is so rare without finding something that you find on the internet. But it's
well, I've never been to Paris, so no, it's interesting. It's interesting because you don't always, I guess, understand. You can make a movie and you have no idea what the hell the movie's about, you know. And sometimes, dialogue can be wonderful because in terms of explaining, sometimes it's through the images, and sometimes it just. I've done things that even now I couldn't begin. I did a thing called Wild Palms. It was a miniseries, and I don't have a clue what it was. I've seen it several times. So it's kind of not necessary. Obviously, you have to find a place yourself and make the story make sense. But yeah, it's and sometimes that works very well, and sometimes of course it doesn't work. It's still what it's about. At least it should be interesting.
But it's such a collaborative medium that, it's not about one actor or one director. I mean, the director has to have the helm of the thing and know what he's doing. But besides that, it's everybody's input and everybody's job that is so important in the making of a movie. And sometimes when it comes together really well, and sometimes it's disastrous. But it's everybody's part is as important, equally as important, I find, as the other person's part. It's really a fun thing to work on that way.
Yeah, I have a question for Ernie. If you didn't get discharged from the Marine Corps, would you still have gone on to be a Marine?
Yeah, I had no choice. Once a year, they don't give you that option. Can I go home now? It's like you signed up, but I didn't understand. Yeah, I went to the Marine Corps in '64, just before anybody talked about Vietnam. I'm like, oh, I got there like, Vietnam? Where's Vietnam? Like, it wasn't a war that was, talked about, and they were talking about cutting the basic training short, and it was a crazy time. But I had asthma. I'm allergic to shellfish, and so I was discharged. But yeah, I would have gone to like the whole platoon. Everybody went to Vietnam, and I, who was a platoon guy, ended up back home, which was kind of interesting. My grandmother said she prayed for me. In fact, when I came home, I didn't anybody know that I was coming home, and this is a true story. I came home, and it was our house. There was this field that you had to walk past. And you get off the bus, and you had to walk past through this field to kind of get there. Very open area. And my grandmother's out hanging clothes on the clothesline. And when I walked up to her, because I was surprised, because she didn't know I was coming, and she said, oh, there's some dinner for you in there. Okay, I said, but I'm home. How did you know I was coming home? She said, I prayed. And so my grandmother prayed. Prayers are very powerful. Thank God I went to college instead of Vietnam.
I didn't know Vietnam was a hotbed for shellfish.
I had a crazy drill instructor who just insisted I eat what I kept saying, I can't eat this.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, this question is for Michael. I wanted to ask the movie Crooklyn, after you ended up playing two characters.
Which movie?
Crooklyn.
I don't think I did that. Maybe I did.
All right, that's this question of the panel so far. Gentleman right back there.
There's a lot that I don't know.
Yep. There you go. You're next, Spidey. Nope, sit down. This one right here. I guess Spider-Man next.
You never did Crooklyn.
My favorite scene in Crow is the one where you're high on heroin and he's going to attack you. And you do the line, look what you did to my sheets. My question is, what's your favorite scene and how much ad-libbing did you do in that movie? And that's for all of it.
Favorite scene, I couldn't really tell you.
He never saw it.
Obvious reasons. But I can't remember if it was I guess there was some ad-libbing in there. I mean, I think that there was something to go off of, and then we sort of played with it from there. I don't remember if the line about my sheets, which I really liked myself. I don't know if somebody came up with it or if it was in the script or not. I just can't remember. But yeah, I guess when I see the movie, I'll tell you.
Spider-Man?
Actually, Deadpool.
You're dressed in the mask looks like Spider-Man. Sorry. I told you we make this fun, right? Okay, sorry.
Two-part question. When you guys are sitting at the table, having drinks, eating bullets, do they let you ad-lib the delivery method of the bullet? And
That was all ad-lib. And that throwing that bullet up and catching it in my mouth, I was damn proud of that.
Did anyone try to take a fistful of bullets and just chuck them in?
That whole scene pretty much around that table was ad-lib. The Fire It Up, D.P. Kelly came up with that. He's from Detroit, so some told me it had something to do with Detroit, which I didn't know what it had to do with Detroit. But he came up with it and I followed his lead. And that whole scene seemed to have just come about while we were around that table.
Young lady right here.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, the old woman with the glasses on her head.
I was 14 when The Crow came out, and it was a huge influence on my life during that time.
I'm sorry.
Of course, my dad still regrets, to this day, letting me watch it. I have, I guess, two questions. One, how many times do people, I guess, ask you guys, how influence they have, your different characters have, influenced them, and wanted to maybe get into acting themselves? Have you heard that much?
Yeah, I think we all try to put our stamp on our work and make it indelible. And so probably the best compliment we can get is when somebody just comes up and says, I like this role or that role or anything, but that, you possibly helped change my life or you inspired me to do something similar to what you do. If any filmmakers are in here, please make your films, write your stories, never give up. With Kickstarter these days, everybody can get something done. Tell your stories, everything starts with that.
Because mine personally, I was, I first wanted to go into film, go into directing because of the movie, and then I end up instead in music, and now I'm doing post-production stuff.
What is the thing you're doing after music?
Post-production.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're in the business.
Yeah.
So you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
The most incredible thing in any country is to do what you live to do, what you were meant to do. And do it well.
So thanks.
Real quick, before we'll have one more question, what I want to do is pull these raffle tickets. If you have your tickets, you're going to be eligible to get one of the... Tony, you don't have your ticket? Damn. Run back downstairs. I'm going to have Ernie pull a ticket, I'm going to have Michael, and I'm going to have Tony pull a ticket. Again, those are for the 3 autographed DVD of The Crow, and the gentleman with that red plaid jacket, you're going to come down to my booth. If you want to see these guys, we are offering photo ops with all 3 of them. If you want to do something like that, down at booth 1099 or by the food, right in front of the bathrooms. You got to use both of those things somewhere along the way while you're here. It's a shameless commercial, but we're there all weekend.
Think I will? Yeah, of course.
119634. What was that? 11964. Oh, come on down. 11964. Gentlemen.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong number. Next we have 119523.
You mean
Well, mine just says Staples. No, it's 119592.
Oh, dude, I think you had it.
Yes? All right.
I had a question for Ernie. How do you stay in great shape? Because whenever you was walking in, I was like kind of intimidated, and I was like, wow, Winston on steroids.
No, I don't stay in great shape. Well, you know, I breathe very shallow.
Something I got it, and I remember this.
I think you just have to be kind to yourself. I think loving the world and loving everybody in it starts with loving yourself. I love me.
Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, we are going to be, I'm going to have these guys stand up together, get your cell phones ready to do a quick shot. We're going to be heading back downstairs. We thank you very much. And again, Crow, 20 years, let's go another 20. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause. Mr. Ernie Hudson, Mr. Tony Todd, and Mr. Michael Massey. Real quick, get in there, get your cell phones up. If you want to do shots downstairs with you in the picture with these guys, we're doing those photo ops for you.
It's free. Free.
All right. Now, was that a good panel or was that a good panel?